What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the Herro Pro. Welcome back to a brand new video where we talk all things Miami Heat basketball. In today's video, we're going to be talking about a couple of rumors that have been floating around with the Heat once more, a couple of players that are on the trade block for different teams, and a player that I do think the Heat should look into. So before we get into it, let's talk about the amazing work and the amazing love you guys have showed me, man. As I'm recording this video, we are actually less than 5 subscribers away from 800, which is absolutely mind-blowing, because I'm pretty sure we were at 700 a couple of days ago. So we had just hit 700 a couple of days ago, and then already we're at 800, which shows that you guys really rock with the channel and rock with my content, which is really good to see. So keep doing what you guys have been doing, and I'll keep, publishing videos as frequently as I can for you guys. And as usual, hit that like button. If you guys are new, please hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications so you guys do not miss a single video on this channel. And lastly, and most importantly, please comment down below your thoughts, any video suggestions. Everything is appreciated, man. I want to shout out one of the comments. I'll do that later because it's more relevant to what I'm talking about later. But if you guys have a comment that I really like, I will shout it out. So get your comments down below, questions, whatever you guys have, man. I'm here for it. So thank you guys again, and keep doing what you guys have been doing. So let's get right into it. So the name we're going to be talking about the most is going to be Collin Sexton in today's video, because Colin Sexton has been someone that has been put up on the trade block by the Cleveland Cavaliers, according to multiple sources, Yahoo Sports being the main one, and then a bunch of other ones as well. So it looks like the Cleveland Cavaliers are actively trying to shop Colin Sexton now. The Colin Sexton Darius Garland experiment clearly has not worked as a collective. Individually, I still think they're very talented players, but as a collective, I knew this experiment would not work ever since Darius Garland was drafted to the Cavs. I've been very big fans of Colin Sexton and Darius Garland when they were coming out of college. Obviously, Sexton at Alabama, Garland at Vanderbilt. They were both really nice players, but together, I just did not see the fit. I just thought they were both point guards. None of them have ever played shooting guard in their life. None of them were really pass first players. They're guys who love to shoot the ball. So I didn't think the playmaking would work. So I just didn't see the fit for the Cavs, and I think it's good that they're moving on from one of them. Sexton over Garland, maybe they see Garland as a younger piece for the future, but Sexton is definitely on the trade block for them, and I do think they're probably going to go, depending on who gets taken by the Rockets. I think the Rockets will go Mobley to pair him alongside Christian Wood, and I think that the Cavs will take a Jalen Green or someone like that to pair alongside Darius Garland. But Colin Sexton is on the trade block apparently, and he's a guy that's going to be coveted by a lot of teams, and the Miami Heat, I think, should take some interest in him. And let me tell you why. Now, Kyle Lowry is a guy that is a free agent. Spencer Dinwiddie is a free agent. Dennis Schroeder is a free agent. Colin Sexton, I think, is in a very similar mold to these players. I don't know where this idea came that he's not a good defender. I have no clue if I've been missing something, if I have not been watching enough games. From what I've seen of Colin Sexton since coming out of college, defense has been one of his biggest strengths. Even coming out of college, he was known to be a very good defensive guard. So I don't know where this idea came that he's not a good defender. He is certainly a good defender. He's not an all-NBA defender or anything like that, but he's not a liability on the defensive end. So I don't really know where this notion came. There's a lot of people I've seen saying he's not a good defender. He's a good defender. He's a good defender. Please do not get that twisted. He could come in and arguably be our best guard defender with Oladipo. So he's still a very good defender. He can definitely score the ball. He's averaged. I think he's averaging 25. He averaged 25, about 25 a game for this season. He took a big jump. He was actually in some sneaky All-Star conversations during the All-Star break. Obviously, his team was doing a little bit better then, but if they fell off, obviously the Cavs are not a great team. He loves to shoot the ball, though. One of the cons is that he's not really a playmaker. He's a guy who loves his shots, man. He's gonna get his shots up, and sometimes he might jack up some ill-advised threes or ill-advised shots, and that's not gonna work out on a team like the Heat, who love to share the ball offensively. So he's gonna have to work on that if we end up trading for him. But I still think he'd be a very good fit, man. I think he's a gritty player. I think he fits our culture. I think he's a guy. I don't know if you guys saw that clip, but there was a clip where he was staring down at a guy at the free throw line. He was there was a clip in summer league where he was guarding, I think, Josh Hart or something like that, and he was like clapping his hands, and he clamped him up, and he has that intensity, man. He has that intensity, and I think he really fits the culture. And not only that, he's just a very talented player as well. He can definitely score that ball. He'd be an upgrade over any of our point guards right now, and I'd take that in a heartbeat. So Collin Sexton, I don't think he's the answer to our problems, but I still think that he's a very good solution to the point guard position. If we don't get like a Kyle Lowry, if we don't get like a Spencer Dinwiddie, if we don't get a Dennis Schroeder's a name that's been thrown out there. I do not want Dennis Schroeder on this team because of his contract demands, but Collin Sexton, I think, would be a very good fit, and especially because here's the shout out. My guy Jack in the comments on one of my previous videos, he actually brought up that and this is a very good point. The Pacers actually just hired Rick Carlisle as your new coach. I was in the camp that the Pacers should go in the other direction, but bringing in Rick Carlisle probably tells me that they want to still compete for the playoffs. I do not see them trading Malcolm Brogdon anytime soon. It could happen. I don't think they would consider Malcolm Brogdon as untouchable, but he's not a guy that they're probably going to try to trade anymore because they just hired a winning coach. TJ Warren's going to come back from a season-ending injury, and they're probably going to try to run it back and make a playoff spot, a firm playoff spot, because they were in the play-in this year. So Malcolm Brogdon is very, very difficult for us to trade for now because of the Pacers hiring Rick Carlisle. So Collin Sexton is an alternative we could go for at the point guard position. What would we give up for Sexton? I've seen a lot of mock trades. His value is not as high as it would be because the Cavs are actively shopping him. It's not like, they just accepted a trade out of the blue. Like, they're actively shopping him, and whenever a team is actively shopping a player, or whenever a player requests a trade, his value usually goes a little bit lower than what it should be in normal circumstances. So Collin Sexton's value is lower than what it would be. Now, talking about the assets we have to trade for him, I saw some stuff on Twitter saying that there's from league sources that there's a 75% chance that Tyler Herro might be traded this offseason. Now, I do not know how reliable these sources are, so if you guys want, you guys can take them with a grain of salt. I'm pretty sure this is from 5 Reasons Sports, which is another Miami Heat. It's another Miami Heat, I think, YouTube channel. So, I don't know how reliable they are, but if Tyler Herro, if there is a 75% chance that Tyler Herro might be traded, then we might have to be prepared for that. To me, I don't think the Heat are trying to actively, shop Tyler Herro or anything like that. I just think that the difference is from this year and last year that if the right trade comes along, they won't hesitate to pull the trigger. I think last year there was a lot of hesitation. A lot of there was a lot of indecisiveness because we didn't know what Tyler Herro could have become, and he underperformed in the playoffs, and it really took a toll on his value a little bit. So I think the difference between this year and last year is that if a trade comes along for Tyler Herro that is the right trade for the Heat, I don't think they'll hesitate to pull the trigger as compared to what they did last year. So I don't think the Heat are actively shopping Tyler Herro. I don't think he's on the trade block, but I think the difference is that if a trade comes along that looks a good fit, he will probably be traded because Jimmy and Bam, like I said, were mentioned as the core pieces by Pat Riley and no one else. And there was an interview with Jimmy saying that, I have to work on blah, 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 blah. Bam has to work on blah, 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 blah. And then he said probably Tyler. I don't know how much I want to read into that, but, that could also be an indication. And more importantly, he just does not fit the timeline. Like, he doesn't fit the timeline of this team. If we want to win now, does he really help? I'm not sure. I was in the camp of giving him another season, but I was definitely also in the camp of if we can get a superstar or a star in return, then I would definitely not hesitate to pull the trigger. So if we can get a Bradley Beal, if we can get a Damian Lillard, if we can get a Zach LaVine, someone on that tier, then I would not hesitate to pull the trigger. Collin Sexton is interesting. I probably, I said that I probably wouldn't trade him for CJ McCollum, but I might have to reconsider that. CJ McCollum's a really good player, but Colin Sexton is, I think, in that same mode of a CJ McCollum. It's very difficult. It's very difficult for me to say if I would trade him for Colin Sexton straight up. I think Colin Sexton, would help us, but I don't know if he's the answer right now, right? Like I really don't know how much Colin Sexton's putting us over the top. So Colin Sexton is interesting. Let me know down in the comments. Would you guys trade Herro for Sexton? Maybe I'm even, silly for taking this long to think about it. It's just a tough one for me to, not discover. It's a tough one for me to evaluate, because I just don't know. For players like Colin Sexton and CJ McCollum, who are like a little bit not on that superstar star tier, they're like mid to high level players in this league. I don't know how to judge them, and I don't know how to judge their value, but I still think we can get Colin Sexton without giving up Herro. I still think that can happen. Like giving the Cavs, we can give them probably Goran Dragic's expiring contract or sign and trade or whatever, or we can give them Precious Achiuwa. We can give them guys like Okpala Achiuwa, people like that. Like I don't think Tyler Herro is necessary in a trade like this, but if we can give him up, and if we have to give him up, I wouldn't be opposed to it, I guess, because Colin Sexton is the better player. He would help us right now more. So yeah, let me know what you guys would give up for Colin Sexton, whether you guys would love to have him on the team or not. I still think he's a very good alternative to a lot of these point guards, but yeah, man. I mean, I just don't know how much he's gonna put us over the top. That's the only thing. If we get Colin Sexton, we got to get a power forward / center alternative to, to play next to Bam. Whoever that is, I'm not sure. John Collins, I would love him on the team, but looks like Atlanta's gonna match like anything and everything for him. I think he's gonna get paid, man. I think John Collins will get paid. He's gonna get a bag, and I don't know if we want to give him that much money. So that position is pretty much a little bit lacking. Some other guys in that mold who I did not mention earlier. Harrison Barnes is a guy that has been mentioned in some trade rumors that I've seen on Twitter, but he's been mentioned for like the past year. Like the Kings have, I don't know what's going on with the Kings. Like apparently Marvin Bagley liked a tweet or something like that said they got to get him up out of here. I would take Marvin Bagley on the Heat. Like I think it's a good thing to take a chance on him, but he just cannot stay healthy, and that's gonna be really, really tough if he comes here and he's not healthy. Like we did that with Victor, and look how it turned out. Like Victor had an injury, and we traded for him, and then that injury, kept bugging him, and then he's out. He's out till November now. So I would not mind any like Bagley or Barnes. I think there'd be some good fits, but like realistically, we gotta move away from some of these guys that are temporary fits. Like Harrison Barnes is not a permanent fit. I don't really care what anyone says. He's a good solid player, but we want to win a championship here, man. I really don't think Harrison Barnes is an answer at that power forward position. I really don't. And I think Bam has to play the 4. I really think Bam has to play the 4. Like I've seen some workouts of him. The agility and the handles, the mobility he has, he's not a center. I don't care. He is not a center, man. Bam Adebayo is a power forward. We have to find a big who can play next to Bam. And whoever that is, like I have no clue, but it has to be someone that we get very, very soon, because I think Bam will probably play center for Team USA, but I still think he's a 4. He's not a natural 5, especially if he starts expanding his range. He's only 6'9". He's very mobile. He's very athletic. He's not slow. He's not, any of that stuff. He can switch onto guards. He can switch onto wings. He can pass the ball. He can handle the ball. He can bring the ball up. He's not a center. He is not a center. We have to find a guy who can complement him. So if we can get a Colin Sexton, if we can get a guy that can complement Bam, I'll be very happy. Apart from that, the priorities for me, obviously, with Colin Sexton, you get a guy who can not only score the ball, but can also defend at the guard position. With the power forward / center, whoever you get a guy that you can pair alongside Bam. Apart from that, I don't really think there's much more that the Heat have to address, unless I'm missing something. Like, oh yeah, some athletic wing players. I forgot about that. Wing players. We need some wing players, especially to come off the bench. Someone like that, like a Derrick Jones Jr., I thought was very, very, very valuable for us. Like, even though he didn't play that much in the playoffs, whenever we played him, Like in that Bucks series, we put him in one game. He got like 3 blocks on Giannis. Like he's a lot better than Trevor Ariza for our team, and guys like that, like Iguodala and Ariza, they were really good players in their primes, but they're just past it. They're just not. You know, they're players that are gonna always have the IQ. They're always gonna have the yards in their brain, but as far as on the court, I just don't think they're capable of, you know, being serviceable to a championship team. Maybe like as a part of the locker room, or maybe as like a 12th man, sure, but you really need guys who can move their feet, who are physical, who are strong, who are athletic, who are long. People in that mold, like Jay Crowder and Derrick Jones Jr. complemented our team so well, because in Jay Crowder you had a very strong player, and Derrick Jones Jr. he had a very athletic player. Trevor Ariza does not bring either. Andre Iguodala, you know, has been on our team for the past couple of years, but it might be time for him to go. So whatever we do with those 2 players, we have to replace them with some athletic wing players. And apart from that, I think we covered the point guard with Collin Sexton. I would love him to be on this team, but it just depends on the asking price of Cleveland. And then for the power forward / center position, there's not really many people on the market right now, but that's one of our biggest needs, and we have to address it. So hopefully we can address these needs, and hopefully we can get an athletic wing player off the bench as well to complement these 2 other positions of need, and we can come back geared up for next season. Like the Celtics just hired a new coach, the Bucks will be back, the Raptors will be back. Obviously, they had some injuries, they were out of town, they were playing in Tampa. They're gonna have a lottery pick. Teams will be better next year, and we have to be really, really well prepared. The Sixers, what did they do with Ben Simmons? Beats me, but they're gonna be prepared. So yeah, we gotta be prepared, man. We gotta really, really kick on. And like I said, everybody by Jimmy and Bam, I think is on the block. I don't really think anyone's untouchable besides them 2. So hopefully we make some moves soon enough. You know, we are eligible to trade, and yeah, that's probably going to be the end of the video. So make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe if you guys are new, comment down below, video ideas, everything, all that good stuff. You guys know what to do. We are very close to 800, man. We might even reach 800 by the time the video goes up. So shout out to all of you guys, man. You guys are the best. I'll see you guys later as always. Peace.